Hello, we are Team 1, here to present our findings about Cloe. This is our team. Our agenda, we're going to go over the company's exportable products, the industry and commercial trends, target market size and characteristics, our target market selection, and our conclusions. Starting with the company, Cloe is a highly recognized brand in the industry with approximately 600 talented individuals and high potential for an international strategy. Now, for the strength of Cloe is that it has 100% original designs. The weaknesses that their competitors have better distribution channels. The threats is the COVID economic crisis and the decrease of growth in the industry. But the opportunities are the e-commerce growth in the Asia Pacific region. Now, the first product to export is HS code 420222, which is handbags with a shoulder strap or without handles with the outer surface of plastic. And the second product is HS code 420292, which is everything else with the outer surface of textile materials, except that includes in the following section. The tariff barriers in Asia Pacific for the first product from China to these countries are the following, the lowest of which are Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and the Philippines with 0%. And for the second product, the lowest are also Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, and Malaysia with 0% tariffs.
Now, the industry and commercial trends. The industry analysis shows that the compound annual growth rate will grow up to 7.3% by 2025. Also, the COVID-19 pandemic hit hard the industry. The regional performing was way better than the global one due to the closure of customs. The value of the industry went down 29% by 2020, but is expected to reach 35,000 million US dollars by 2025. Also, the regions the most price sensitive were Asia Pacific and Latin America. The industry trends are the first one, the e-commerce. People are preferring to stay home and buy through internet rather than go to stores. Also, some innovations are included in the handbags, such as the GPS or the scooter bag. People are preferring to buy comfortable products and have their hands free. And it's expected that after this pandemic, they go back to high-end products. The top regional importers are for the first product, South Korea with around 400,000 US dollars. And for the second product, Japan with more than 2,000,000 US dollars by 2019. The top regional exporters are for the first product, Singapore with around 700,000 US dollars. And Indonesia for the second product with around 300,000 US dollars by 2019.
For Chloe's target market, we focus on young, fashionable customers which have a bit of a higher income than average. In the social aspect, South Korea has a bigger population in comparison to Singapore, as its population is over 51 million, while Singapore has a population of almost 6 million. In Singapore, only 50% of its population earns more than average income per household, while in South Korea, 58.3% of its population are considered middle class. In the technological factor, we decided to use two standards to grade these countries, which are the use of credit cards and internet access. In Singapore, the 48% of its population use their own credit card, which is good in comparison to other countries. However, in South Korea, 63% of its population use it. As for the use of internet, both countries have a good access to it, as 81% of Singapore's population has internet access, while in South Korea, almost every citizen can make use of it, as 90% of its population have internet access.
In relation to the political aspects, both countries has a grade of A3, which basically means that they have it's sure to do business with each country. Then we have the aspect of freedom, in which Singapore has a grade of 49, which is basically a bad or regular grade. And in South Korea, however, it has a great, an excellent grade, which is 83, according to Freedom House. Then in economic aspects, we have Singapore, that they have a GDP per capita of $14,896, an annual growth rate of negative 0.013%, and an inflation of 2.9%. Then in South Korea, we have better results with GDP per capita of $42,661, an annual growth of negative 1.20%, and an inflation of 1.50%.
For the target market selection, here are the scores and grades for both countries. Regarding political, basically it's the same grade because both countries have the A3 score in the country risk. And then legal aspects, Singapore has an advantage on the duty, which is 0%, but the non-tariff barriers are better for South Korea since we had 19 regulatory requirements, while in Singapore we didn't find any data. In economical aspects, some factors stand apart for Singapore while others for South Korea. For example, the most important ones are the GDP per capita. In Singapore, it's better, but the inflation in South Korea is higher, which can be an advantage because of the tendency of consumer spending. The household income distribution is also an advantage in South Korea, since the middle class earns more money than in Singapore. And the competition at country level is also the same for both countries. The size of industry is, however, bigger in Singapore, and characteristics also is better in South Korea since the middle class is bigger. And in technological aspects, they're also similar, but the usage of credit card and also the access to internet is higher in South Korea than in Singapore. Finally, the conclusion is that the factors that stand apart that make South Korea a better option than Singapore is first, the size of the country is very notorious. It's 10 times bigger than Singapore regarding population. The regulations also, as previously said, there was no data for Singapore, while we found 19 regular requirements for South Korea, which gives us more confidence. And there is much more import availability in South Korea than there is in Singapore. Finally, we end with a score of 179 in our weekend with South Korea and 136 for Singapore.
Thank you.